How'd these dogs get in here?
Whose dogs could they be?
Welcome to Inchworm,
the podcast in which we are inching through worm. I'm Jenny.
And I'm Ted. And this week, Insinuation 2.7.
That's right. Pretty exciting. Basically, Taylor sees a loft.
Yeah, this arc's really exciting.
It's about architecture.
Taylor goes to the library. Taylor visits a loft.
No, she sees I've forgotten what they're called. The Undersiders?
The Undersiders.
The Undersiders. She sees the Undersiders' secret lair.
Yes.
Much better than she sees a loft.
Well, I'm happy to summarize. In this chapter, we just left Taylor having agreed to join the Undersiders.
That's right.
Operation Insinuation is underway. And, she feels a little guilty about it, but she says, yes, let's do it. There's some cheering, and then they're immediately like, yeah, so we're going to go back to our place, but it'd be kind of weird if you came in costume. And Taylor's like, oh, no, the obvious consequence of this choice is that I now have to reveal myself to them. So she asks for some privacy, she gives herself a pep talk, and then she goes down the fire escape and presents herself as Taylor, aka Bug, to the Undersiders. She chooses to use her real name because she thinks that's the right strategic call.
But she is nervous about it.
Yeah, but she's nervous about it, and she follows them as they take her through the docks, the rundown part of town, to a seemingly abandoned building
Old factory
full of bugs. And
not like literally full of bugs, but she's like, oh yeah, there are a lot of bugs in here.
Yeah, the first floor, totally abandoned factory vibes, but the second floor is an incredible, authentic 2011 loft space. Exposed rafters, brick walls. It's incredible. Taylor says, oh man, I'm kind of jealous of you guys. And Regent's immediately like, you dork, this is yours now too. And she surveys her surroundings. There's kind of like a lounge area, big TV. There are like little cubicles, kind of, for like the
like
rooms.
They're bedrooms, but the walls don't go all the way up to the very high
so
ceiling.
like full room size. And so each of the Undersiders has a room. Bitch's dogs have a room. There's a bathroom.
Brian doesn't have a room.
That's right. Brian doesn't have a room. He has his own apartment. That's one of many points of minor contention among the team. And they're going to clear out the storage closet for Taylor. And at the far end of the loft is their kitchen. And we learn Rachel isn't home. No sign of Bitch. Not sure where she is. But they start to kind of onboard her. Not a very formal process. She learns basically...
no PowerPoint.
Yeah. She gets money for being on the team. And then she gets a say in kind of what jobs they do. But they make a lot more money than their sort of retainer fee. Yeah.
It's all about the bonuses.
Depending on what jobs they do. Taylor gets to know Brian and Lisa and Alec a little bit more, and then is suddenly stopped short when she learns something about Lisa's power.
Which, to be fair, was pretty obvious already.
As we knew, as we suspected, Lisa says, I do know everything. It's my power. And Taylor does maybe obvious, maybe not obvious to Lisa double take.
She didn't think Lisa knew everything, which, to be fair again, Lisa does not.
Right. You're omniscient. No. I do know stuff. My power tells me stuff. And we get into a little bit of detail about how Lisa's power works, or at least how she wants to present her power. And Taylor starts to feel a little queasier, knowing that one of her new teammates she's planning to betray has super intuition. And
again, we pretty much knew that.
But
Catch up, Taylor.
Yeah, catch up, Taylor. Exactly. And Taylor tries to change the subject from Lisa's power and is rudely interrupted by a dog attack. 3 snarling dogs pin her against the wall. And that's the cliffhanger at the end of the chapter.
I bet I know who's with the dogs.
Yeah. I was very careful not to say they were Rachel's dogs.
Because we haven't seen Rachel.
Because we don't know. It could be It could be anyone's
Slavering
dogs.
dogs in this loft.
Yeah. So I think that was the chapter.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah. What did you think of it?
I mean, I'm really enjoying getting to know the dynamics of this group.
Mm-hmm.
My reaction, as soon as we got this factory, I was like, so much fan fiction takes place in this factory.
It has to be, right? I'm excited. I'm excited to get into
my goodness.
worm fic, but yeah, it's the team base aspect. It's the Stark Tower thing, like you alluded to.
yeah. No, this is where they're all going to come back to. This is where they're going to see each other every day potentially. You know, this is where all the stories will happen. And I know you told me that a lot of the fic is based on like the status quo, like 20% of the way into the story. Which might have been a little bit of a spoiler because now I kind of do have the sense that like 20% of the way into the story, they're all going to be kind of living as one happy / potentially contentious family in this loft, and then things will go awry.
Interesting. Yeah. We'll see how happy.
I think
we'll
I know
see
that.
How, yeah. I also think if I have spoiled the first 20% of the story for you,
I don't know how they get there. I'm sure there's a lot more stuff that I don't even know about. I might even be wrong about that.
Stuff will keep happening.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I love the Undersiders. They're great. It's such a fun group. I really feel like their vibes all come through in this chapter.
I definitely would just read a procedural where they have lots of adventures for 1.6 million words. And just Yeah,
exactly.
But it always kind of comes back to the status quo. Like
it would be an amazing superhero procedural of teen supervillains just kind of doing their thing.
Yeah.
I love that Brian and Taylor share a sort of like conscientiousness. Right? We got a little bit of this in the last chapter where Brian was like, I would have shown up in costume. Like, that was a good call. And then
good connection.
Here, he's like, okay, so do you know anything about like capes and stuff? And Taylor's immediately like, yeah, I'm a huge nerd. And Brian's like, good, because some people, gestures at Alec, who's lying down on the couch, some people can't be bothered to learn anything about what we're trying to do.
Well, so what she says is, like, yes, I'm a huge nerd, but also I've realized in the past 24 hours there's so much I'm not going to learn except the hard way.
Right.
And that's, I think, what he really vibes with. He's like, wow, you get it.
Yeah.
Like, you get kind of what you don't know. Because, like, yeah, he's like, Regent, is a slacker about this stuff, and some people think they know everything about Lisa.
I don't know if you, like, the vibe I get is he kind of is... Do we know, is he the leader? Do they refer to him as the leader?
No, I don't think that's
at least personality-wise, he seems like the team dad. And that managing the rest of the Undersiders seems really annoying.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay, I was going to say he seems like he has a big personality because we do see him clash a little in this chapter with Alec. And we see him clash... Well, we don't really see him... We do see him clash with Lisa, actually. But before that, we hear that he has been fighting with Lisa about how he doesn't have a space in the loft.
Right.
Which he chose, but is apparently inconvenient. So I was thinking maybe he just kind of is a little bit combative, but maybe it's that he's trying to wrangle everyone, and that makes him kind of...
Right. Well, we do learn that maybe he doesn't want to sleep here, and that's a point of contention among the team. But I feel like what we get... The dynamic between Brian and the others is like, clearly Alec is lazy. He's young and immature.
Yeah.
Brian finds that annoying. Lisa is impulsive. When they're talking about Lisa's power, she keeps being like, well, I was just kind of messing with Taylor. And Brian's like, why? But like, can you just like give me a reason?
Especially because he was probably so concerned about the success of this recruitment. And even though it has succeeded, he's like, why were you making it more difficult when we were already really worried about this going well?
Yeah, I definitely get like a herding cats feeling from him.
That makes a lot of sense.
And then Rachel is question mark.
I mean, she seems like the most unhinged is my impression. She's the one who didn't want to bring Taylor in. And I mean, I'm just associating her with the dogs a little bit. She seems like someone who thrives on chaos. But then, like, maybe that's, like, Lisa a little bit, too, with the impulsiveness. So I don't know.
Right. And it's and we do get, it's interesting that when they're talking about the team, I feel like Brian is at least taking on this role of, like, I'm trying to, not necessarily lead, but, like, he sort of has an opinion about everything and is trying to do the onboarding. Whatever his role is on the team, he's trying to do the onboarding for Taylor.
Yeah, maybe I'm the Brian.
Yeah, but he is also annoying because he doesn't sleep there, and also like he got into a fight with Shadow Stalker, and then he bled all over the couch, and then...
So they have reason to be annoyed with him. It's not like
he does stay here, and then he leaves his stuff around, right? So, like, he's no angel.
Yes. And they're all teenagers.
Petty
or
teen
at least,
dynamics.
Not far out of teenagerhood.
But where this really pinged for me is, like, Lisa talks about her power, and I think we should talk about that more. But, like, it ends, she's very smug. Right?
Yeah.
She embraces the role of the know-it-all.
Yes.
And at the end of her little bit about her power, Brian's like, yeah, and for all that, it doesn't mean she's not just a dumbass sometimes. And that pinged to me is like, this is the theme we got in the interlude of like, humans at their core are flawed, but very low stakes. It's just like any group of like people hanging out are going to have these like little annoying nits to pick.
And it's nice. It makes it feel real that they're not just like a perfectly harmonious team. Like they all just have their own. And they also, though you've identified some traits, they don't feel like they're being set out immediately as a band of five, like here they all are in their roles, like they're all just drastically different in these obvious cartoonish ways, which is nice.
Yeah.
I mean, we probably could try to figure out their roles in the band of five kind of model at this point, but...
Right. I mean, we can at least let them do a caper.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and I'm trying to pull out their early characterization, but there's so much we don't know. We haven't seen them actually working together.
We don't even know the powers for several of them.
Yeah, exactly.
Speaking of powers, should we talk about Tattletales?
Yes.
So we learned that she knows stuff. It sounds like when she knows some stuff, her power fills in the gap. So she was kind of explaining how her power works, and I think it does make sense with how her power works that she doesn't know about Taylor.
Oh, interesting.
Because
I was going to ask.
She knows about known unknowns. If there's a known unknown, she can kind of, like her power will kind of fill it in. She doesn't know about unknown unknowns.
Oh.
Her power doesn't like announce things like, "Brr, you should be aware of this danger." Like it's only if she's like, "Oh, that looks like a danger," then her power will kind of fill in the details.
Fascinating. Yeah.
So I think that's actually like a huge blind spot for them. I mean, as evidenced by Taylor sitting there in the middle of their loft, specifically like aiming to betray them.
Right.
And she doesn't know. And so it's very ironic where she's like, I know everything. She's like, okay, I don't know everything. And Brian's like, yeah, she can still be a dumbass. And
so this is an example of
overlooking
her
this
overconfidence, perhaps.
Yeah. Right. She didn't have a bad sense about Taylor, and so there was nothing for her power to fill in there.
Right. She said something like concrete things are easier than
true. Yeah.
people or than I forget exactly what she said.
It also seems like she can get more. Yeah, she says, I'm really best with concrete stuff, where things are, timing, encryption, yada yada. I can read something out of changes in body language or routine, but it's less reliable and kind of a headache. Which is kind of the sensory overload thing, information overload in this case, which like Taylor was referencing with her bugs. Like you just can't absorb everything your power could tell you at all times. And it sounds like even this changes in body language or routine. So if something pings with her, just like without her power, then she can kind of extrapolate some stuff. But she doesn't just know, unless she has a reason to think there's something to know.
Right. So seems like possibly the threat to Taylor is...
If
acting inconsistently or it's sort of like the kind of thing where Taylor's like, oh, did I react too much to that? That seems maybe like the sweet spot of like, is that a little thread that Lisa's power could pull on?
Yeah. And I was thinking in this chapter, like, okay, she's like when she was like, oh, I have to show them my face, and I think I probably need to tell them my real name. Well, hopefully I can like cash in my favor with Armsmaster and get him to keep them from betraying my real name once I get them all arrested is the subtext. And I was like, okay, you gotta go talk to Armsmaster now and let him know your plan. But actually knowing what Lisa's power is, she might not want to.
It's a lot riskier.
It's a lot riskier because now that Lisa has reason to look into like Lisa might be like in class tomorrow and be like, I wonder where Taylor is, and like her power will be like, well, she's at the PHQ. And Lisa will be like, why is she at the PHQ? And it'll all unravel. So like doing any acting in any way that might be suspicious is yeah.
Well, it seems like a really fun power. It seems like a really...
Oh, we also learned,
Yeah.
that Lisa actually specifically spies on PHQ. So now Taylor can't go and talk to Armsmaster there. Like, she'd have to do it much more sneakily.
Oh, that's a great point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry. Go on.
Well, that actually kind of leads into what I was saying. I'm really interested in how Lisa's power works. Just like, what is it like to be her? Like, she sort of is like, I have this intuition and it lets me skip steps and I need something to go off of. It's like super interesting. But I love it from not just a like Watsonian perspective, but from a Doyleist perspective, just in the way that you pointed out, is having someone like Tattletale on the Undersiders, who you're planning to betray, just makes it so much harder to navigate that. Right.
Right. She really has to act the role all the time because she never knows when Tattletale might be spying on her in some way.
And if you're going to infiltrate a group of teenagers as another teenager, it's probably pretty easy. So like you kind of have to give the teens a leg up, in some way. Right. So yeah, she can't do anything through legitimate channels now because she knows she might be spied on. If she starts acting weird or in a way that is inconsistent with her prior behavior, that could tip Lisa off. And so it's nice. She can't just settle in and live this fantasy of like, I have my friend group and maybe I'll betray them one day.
Or
it's
in fact, she should. Like, that's going to be the safest thing for her, is settling in and like really take like deep cover. Like, she can't leave and then go and talk to Armsmaster. Like, she has to live. I mean, she can keep up her normal cover of like being a kid with her dad, but she can't have a secret third life as a superhero. She has to really play the role of villain.
Yeah.
Which I suspect will bring her deeper into the fold. It's hard to wear a mask that doesn't become your real face.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
I also wanted to, I think you sort of mentioned this, but Lisa's power seems really similar to Taylor's. And I thought I also noticed that in an interesting way.
Yeah.
The sort of...
information overload.
Yeah, she was sort of like, there are things that are easier or harder for my power. And it's like, if I work at it, I can figure stuff out from like body language, but that's harder for me. Whereas the same way, Taylor's like, I can see what my bugs see, but it's so overwhelming and like nonsensical that I just mostly turn that off.
Yeah.
Right. It's interesting that there are, I guess, unplumbed depths of these powers and that they both have powers that result in kind of like information overload. Is a very interesting similarity.
Yeah, I wonder how much the gaps in Lisa's power, I wonder how much it's real gaps in her power versus she just can't take in all the information, so she focuses on places where she knows there's something she might want to see.
Yeah.
So it's possible that she could actually find out other types of things if she's willing to put up with some more information or like take her time to like go through it more slowly. There are probably ways.
Yeah.
I did have a thought about the group. They are kind of in it for the business. Like, they aren't a group of friends.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. And I want to mention they get $2,000 a month just for showing up. But they generally haul in 10 to 35 grand for a job.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they're doing a job every month, but still, that's...
Oh, I would assume.
At minimum, right?
Yeah.
You'd assume that they're pretty active.
Yeah, they bought an enormous TV. Speakers bigger than the TV at Taylor's house. They have a TiVo, Ted.
Yeah, they have like 6 or 7 video game consoles.
Taylor can't quite identify the TiVo because she's never seen one.
Wild Bow, I love little details like that. It's such a realistic thought to have.
Oh, yeah.
Like, instead of like the Omniscient, they had a TiVo. It's like, well, they have a thing that I know some people have a box that's like an extra box that goes with the TV. So it's probably a TiVo? Is that a TiVo? Like, I don't know. I'm too embarrassed to go up to Alec and be like, so is that a TiVo? Right? Like...
I mean, I also just love, of course they have video game consoles. They presumably have a lot of downtime. So Alec and Rachel and Lisa all live in this loft. It doesn't seem like they have families they live with. Brian has his own apartment, but again, like none of them seem to have... Like, honestly, they don't seem to have secret identities. Like, their identities aren't all known to, like, PHQ, like, to the Protectorate, but, like, they don't have lives outside of being supervillains.
Do you think they're in school?
I was going to say, I think they're probably not in school.
Yeah.
Because, like, why would teenage supervillains go to school if they don't have to, you know? They're going to make their living on their powers. Like, they don't need to learn history.
But yeah, they're teenagers. I mean, we sort of know a little bit about Rachel's lack of a family situation from the news reports.
Right, yeah, the foster situation.
You know, presumably there are families.
Right, we don't know anything about Lisa's or Alex's past. So we don't know what happened with their families. Oh, so we also get the detail. Brian says about Rachel, Rach is not here. And neither are her dogs. She must be walking them or working. And I was like, that's really interesting. Walking them or working. What does working mean for her? I assume it's not that she has a job. Why would she do that? I assume it's working for them. And does she have some kind of ongoing work that she can do for them? Or are they preparing for a specific job? I thought that was just an interesting thread.
Yeah.
That doesn't get pulled in this chapter.
Well, we may, learn more about Rachel soon. But
who knows? It could be anyone's dogs.
Arcs and arcs, yeah. One thing that I wanted to point out about the Undersiders that popped out to me on the reread is her duties and membership include a vote. It is a non-hierarchical gang of supervillains.
Right, even though they have a boss who is the one who pays them to stay active and just like do jobs sort of on a baseline level. Someone who just wants active supervillains in the city? Like, what a weird... Or did the boss get a cut?
Right. Who's the boss? But also, who organized the Undersiders? And like, which of these weirdos is responsible for this kind of loosey-goosey, routine? You would imagine with a new recruit, it's like you test them, you give them more and more responsibilities, make sure that they're reliable.
No, but it's just like you're in.
You say you're going to do this, that, and that.
When I was predicting, I was like, they'll probably have her like go on some kind of trial job. No, she's just in. I was intrigued again by Brian's wording. $2,000 a month just to be a member of the team. That means you help decide what jobs we do, you go on the jobs, you stay active, you're available if we need to call. One of those things is not like the others. What the heck does stay active mean? Does that just mean practice your power? Like, what if she's doing all the other things? What is stay active in addition to that?
Yeah, interesting.
It was very mysterious to me.
And there could be more, part of what we get in this chapter is like, we're hanging out in a cool loft. Mm-hmm. And there's kind of a very abrupt pivot to a dog attack at the end. So it'll be interesting to see if there are other shoes to drop in terms of what being an undersider means. Oh, intriguing. The doors were interesting. The bedroom doors were decorated on one side. Right, the old painted doors. Yeah. Well, not Rachel. So Lisa's door has a girl's face with puckered lips. I don't know if that's just like, it's like a duck face, self-portrait, I don't know. Or like, is there a puckered lip thing that's connected to her power? Who knows? Yeah. Taylor does say, I wondered what the story was there. So. I mean, she mouths off, information. Like whispering maybe. So she also says the first door had a crown done in a dramatic graffiti style, which is Regent's door. I don't know that I really had a solid prediction for his power before. I think it was like hard for me to come up with something. Seeing that, it just kind of clicked in me that what I think I want his power to be based on his name, I want him to be able to take over other people's bodies and like temporarily like puppet them. Interesting. Yeah, I want him to be like the regent of their bodies. Well, right. The power behind the throne when the monarch can't serve. Yeah. Right. Who's really wearing the crown. Yeah. So I like that prediction. Sweeps in, takes temporary leadership of their bodies. Yeah. Which could be really interesting when you're faced with like villains like Lung who have very powerful bodies when they're fighting and that's really interesting. Can you control other people's powers? Actually, maybe it's not that he it's not that he controls other people's bodies. It's that he can temporarily take someone else's power. Ooh. Yeah. He can sort of magnet it away from them, use it, and then, has to give it back. He can't keep it forever. Nice. It's a classic NBC's Heroes. That sounds right. I never watched that show, but I think I kind of knew about that. Yeah. Awesome. Love that prediction. Okay, updated prediction for Regent's power. I mean, I feel like those are two different predictions that can both live as possibilities. Yeah. Well, and Taylor just asked Alec and Brian what their powers were. Probably in the next chapter we will find out. Yeah.
Although I suspect we're going to have a whole confrontation with Rachel before. And if we thought this chapter was contentious among team members...
Oh, yeah.
I think next chapter is going to be much more intense. Yeah. I mean, she's the one who didn't want to recruit Taylor.
Well, before we talk about the ending, I wanted to go back to the beginning of the chapter and just a little bit... This moment, I mean, to me, I sort of did it in the summary, but it's just so funny to me that she's like, I'm on your team now. And they're like, cool, maybe take off your costume because it's awkward. And then she has this like long inner monologue where she's like, oh no, like how could I not have foreseen this? It's like, and she quickly like runs all the numbers and is like, okay.
It's really funny how quickly she made that decision without thinking through what it would actually mean. And I do think she was so primed to want to be accepted by a group of people. I think she probably agreed with much less strategic thought than she would normally give to a decision like that. Just because not only does she want to be cool in the superhero world, and this is her opportunity to infiltrate, to insinuate herself into a group of supervillains and then take them down. So that's one big draw. And then there's the other big draw of like, well, she gets to hang out with this group of supervillains who are her friends. Like, she gets friends and she gets this bigger purpose, which are unfortunately in conflict, and that's going to be a really big problem for her. But... Yeah,
and the thing that's so upsetting to her when she realizes she's going to have to unmask is that she can't just be unknown supervillain, aka Bug, to them. She also has to be Taylor to them. And that pushes so many buttons immediately. So I just want to read her little thought process. What would they think when they saw the real me? Brian and Alec were good-looking guys in very different ways. Lisa was on the sliding scale between plain and pretty, more pretty than not. My own scale of attractiveness, by contrast, put me somewhere on a scale that ranged from nerd to plain. My opinion of where I fit on that scale changed depending on the mood I was in when I was looking in the mirror. They were cool, confident, assured people. I was me.
Yeah.
I stopped myself before I could get worked up. I wasn't regular old Taylor here. In the here and now, I was the girl who'd put Lung in the hospital, accidental as it was. I was the girl who was going undercover to try and get the details on a particularly persistent gang of supervillains. I was, until I came up with a better name to go by, Bug. The girl the Undersiders wanted on their team. And she gives herself this little pep talk. I love it so much. And then when she goes down and like she takes off her helmet and then she has to put her glasses on and she gives them like an awkward wave and Alec rolls his eyes, Brian grins, and then Lisa gives her a big like side hug.
Oh, yeah.
And Taylor's like, it felt so nice. Like I've been needing a hug from someone who wasn't my dad for a long time.
Oh.
It's just the sweetest little moment. So like she does, it's so clear. You know, she doesn't think about how desperate she is for friends, but so clear
desperate for friends.
How she handles the situation.
I totally missed the line about needing a hug because I was caught up on, this is so nitpicky. She was a little older than I was, so she was just tall enough to be at the perfect height to do it. And I was like, really? Taylor's 15 and there's a girl who's like a little older and who's tall. Like, that's not really how heights work for like girls in their late teens. Like, most girls stop growing after that point. It's like, this was not written by someone who'd been a teenage girl. Although, as we discussed with Grey and Anamorphology, she grew late.
But maybe they're just all weirdly tall. Like, we don't have any reason to believe Taylor's short. We know Brian is, like, ridiculously tall.
Yeah, but it's not related to her age, is the point.
Yeah. Or her ability to give hugs. Short people can give good hugs. I also,
great point.
Little fact about Lisa, doesn't do handshakes. She does do hugs.
Oh, yeah.
Another nice detail just in this earlier part of the chapter, the beat where they're walking from the building where the fight happened to the loft. They just go through the crappy part of town, the docks, and Taylor kind of takes it all in. And in the daylight and in the presence of her new companions, I feel like she has a much different take on it than she did when she was like, I'm going through this like drug-addled den of misery, and like anyone who gets caught, you know, like out on the streets at this hour, like is asking for trouble. And she kind of like sees a mom with her kids go into a building that looks really run down, and she's like thinking like,
she sees a mom herd 4 near identical infants into a building. I was like, okay, hang on. First of all, what do you mean by infant? Because how are you hurting them? But like, this mom has like 4 tiny babies that all look the same. What is going on with this woman?
Well, okay, but I was taking it more as like she's having empathy rather than being like, what's this freakish situation? And then you're like, Lisa waves to some artist or something.
Your point is better. Yes.
No, but it's a great theme, but it's like, the people in the bad part of town are people too. And I feel like Taylor on her mission to fight Lung was like not in that headspace.
Yeah,
and now that she's getting to know these supervillains, she's maybe opening up. Yeah.
My main thought in this section was like, what the heck is going on with this city? Like, I know they had some industries closed down. So like the shipping closed down. Like they used to be a shipping center and now they're not, I think was the situation. They must either have like real money problems in this city, which they probably, it sounds like they do. But like, I also wonder if is there something going on with the city government? Like, is there corruption and they want to keep this area derelict? Because like this level of dysfunction in a city area is like not normal.
Oh yeah.
Like, there are power poles without lines. Like,
yeah. And there's some reason to believe that Brockton Bay in particular is crummy, because the way that we've heard it characterized is like Brockton Bay really punches above its weight for supervillains.
Yes.
Right. So like we don't necessarily know, is it the presence of all the supervillains that is making the city suck so much? Is there a reason the city sucks that attracts the supervillains?
I mean, I think the answer to that is going to be really interesting.
Yeah.
Because we also know that this group of supervillain teens has this like semi-anonymous boss who pays them to stay active, but not to do specific jobs.
Yeah.
So I think there's something going on here.
Yeah,
like
interesting.
Some larger purpose, plan, supervillainy, someone who wants like smaller supervillains acting on the ground for chaos reasons. Who knows?
Oh, yeah. One other thing just about her vibing with the Undersiders. After her impulsive choice to join the team, she does have some mixed feelings at the beginning of the chapter, but it was interesting to me. She feels guilty. She doesn't regret the impulsive decision. She's not worried about it, but she feels guilty.
She does get worried later. But...
Right, but her immediate feeling is, I feel guilty for like lying to these people.
Yeah. Well, okay, so this is predictions, but she is setting herself up for so much trouble. And it makes sense that she doesn't see it coming because she's 15 and hasn't gone through that many life transitions and isn't that experienced with like joining new groups of people and learning to fit in and stuff. But like her desire to have this community, which is so essential, and she's been stripped of it at school, and all she has is her dad, and that's not enough. This like fundamental need of hers to have community is in conflict with another fundamental human need to have purpose. And she is someone who cares so much about like morality, ethics, like she cares about doing the right thing.
Yeah.
And she is gaining a community that does not align with her purpose. And I'm very, very curious how she's going to reconcile those things, because these aren't people who are these aren't freedom fighters. Like, they're in it for the money. And I don't know that they're like, maybe they'll all together gain a higher purpose that like Taylor would be able to deal with, but like I don't think she's going to be able to just betray them and move on with, superhero-ness, because like these are going to be her people and you can't just betray that and
That's
be okay.
So interesting.
She might betray them, but it'll, it's not going to be an easy split for her. Like, what I want is for her to be able to stay on their side and their side to somehow align with her purpose, but I don't know how that will work.
Right. Yeah. Fascinating. All right. So I have some predictions. Do you want to talk about just the cliffhanger at the end of the chapter and then go into other predictions?
I had a few other random little thoughts. Does
her
mask correct her vision?
Oh, yeah.
She takes off her mask, everything is blurry, and then she pulls the glasses out of her bag. Does she, have lenses embedded in it? Or does
she must.
That's a better answer than she used the bug's power to create, vision correcting. They must just be lenses. Yeah,
she must. But, I doubt she ordered custom lenses, so I sort of imagine she has...
an old pair of glasses that she
Yeah, she has an old
something?
pair of glasses, stuck on the inside. But I don't remember that being described when she talks about her mask earlier. But yeah, that is funny.
I did just want to mention that Lisa's power lets her find out passwords. So powerful.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, she can do anything.
And she sort of describes it, because she says, I knew you were at the library. And she describes it as like, you know, I probably could have like hacked into the system and like looked at network logs and found your IP address, and that would have taken you to the library. And my power just lets me skip all those steps. So like with something like passwords, it's like, what are those intermediate steps? Like I'm really curious. Like,
do you think her power always works by skipping potential intermediate steps, though? Because it could be...
And we don't even know if that's really what it is. Like, that's just how Lisa describes it. But, like, I'm curious...
It could be, I know how to hack the system and figure out the password that way.
Yeah. Is it more akin to, like, how you would... In an approach to password breaking in real life, there's kind of pure social engineering, right? Where it's like, oh, it's a 4-number PIN... So it's probably, you know, their spouse's birthday or their, you know, son's birthday or something like that. That there's like that social engineering type of thing, which like makes sense for superintuition, that you'd be able to figure out, you know.
But she works with concrete stuff, like
right? Or is it more like
yeah,
there's a password and it's of a certain length, and her power lets her like cheat at
combinatorics, like
combinatorics, basically, right? Like I can just do math really fast, and like these are all the possibilities, and this is the right one. Like I
right, because it's like I could try 5 billion passwords, but my power lets me skip those steps.
Right. So I'd be curious if we get more.
The mechanics of her power do seem really cool.
Yeah,
and like
more
if we know a little
that.
bit more about those, we could like learn more about how she could expand it, and
yeah. And also, I feel like it's really unclear what are the tripwires for Taylor and interacting with Lisa, right? There's this whole sort of like...
yes, it's very unclear.
Know, it feels to me like at any point, Lisa's power could be like, by the way, Taylor's a mole. And we don't know what type of thing even might cause that.
She's not a mole. This isn't Animorph 17.
It's not... we're rebranding Inch Mole.
I waited until there was a pause so that you could cut that out.
People are going to have to get used to our Animorphs takes. Podcast what you know.
All right. So you wanted to talk about the ending.
Yeah.
And where it's going.
How did these dogs get in here?
Whose dogs could they be? Okay, so they're obviously Rachel's dogs.
I'm going to tell you there's 2 more chapters in the arc.
Oh, ooh. Okay, so Insinuation, it makes sense that this arc would be her getting in with this group. I do think we're going to have a chapter of her going home, or at least a chapter in which she goes home, because I think we're going to have another scene with her dad to sort of wrap up. We started with her dad. I think we're going to go back to it.
Yep.
So I think we're going to have a chapter of meeting Rachel and finding out about Brian and Alex's powers. And then I think we're going to have a chapter where she goes home and sort of puts this new aspect of her life in perspective.
Yeah.
So I do think the dogs are Rachel's. Going to go out on a limb there. Say they're not someone else's dogs.
If you could sort of predict, like, the first few beats of the next chapter specifically, like, how do you think this interaction is going to go?
Rachel's going to be super mad. She was against the recruitment. It's going to be like, what the hell is this girl doing here? Like, I told you this was a waste of time. We don't need her. Like, you know, kind of a get out of our space. We don't want you. And everyone's like, no, we do. But there's going to be a lot of hostility.
Sounds good.
Either that or it's going to be super weird. She does seem like a real loose cannon. She'll just be like, hey, great to see you, and laugh maniacally. And we'll be like, what's going on?
Love it.
It does seem like the dogs can... Like, she makes the dogs into these, like, huge, demonic-seeming, like, monsters, but it seems like that's temporary. I thought it was more of a, like, you change the dog into this, and then the dog is that. But no, it seems like with Lung's power to turn into a dragon, hers is just... She affects the dogs, they turn into monsters, they go back.
Right.
So they're
and to be clear, these are
dogs.
Normal size.
Yeah, that was my impression.
Normal size dogs. Or we don't have any reason to believe these are monster dogs. These just seem like
she says
dogs.
3 snarling dogs. She doesn't say 3 enormous monsters.
Lizard tigers.
What do you say?
Lizard tigers, I think is how she described them before she knew they were dogs.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what I think is going to happen. A little longer term prediction, medium term prediction. So they were saying she has to be on call, and she's like, oh, I actually don't have a phone. And we know that her dad didn't want to get her a phone because her mom died in a car crash caused by texting. And Brian's like, it's fine, we'll get you a phone, as if it's no big deal. And she's like, yeah, it probably isn't. Her dad's going to find that phone.
Yeah.
That's going to happen.
Chekhov's secret phone.
Yeah, I think she's going to have the phone in this arc. I don't think we have time in just 2 more chapters. And it would be too soon for him to find it. But maybe in the next arc, he's going to find the phone. And that's going to, like, kind of blow up her dual life. I don't think she's going to tell him the whole truth, but that will certainly begin a new era of suspicion for him, because how can she afford a phone?
I know. That's so true.
Yeah.
All right. Secret phone that Dani finds.
I also think we haven't gotten a lot of specific information about, like, her family having money troubles. Like, you know, it's not like, oh, we can't pay our mortgage next month. Like, we haven't seen that kind of thing, but we do know that her dad is working for, like, a union that doesn't have work anymore.
Yeah.
And so we can expect some money troubles. I think another wrinkle that will happen in her struggle to extricate herself from this situation she's getting herself into, somewhat without very much forethought, is that she's going to get really hooked on this money. And in fact, they're going to desperately need this money.
Oh.
Yeah. And the Protectorate's not going to pay her this kind of money. This is supervillain money.
Yeah, this whole needing to use ill-gotten gains to help your family, having a secret phone. This is feeling very Breaking Bad to me. I know you haven't watched that show, but, like, there's some point-for-point beats.
No, but we're definitely getting into a theme of activity on the wrong side of the law being necessary to provide for people's basic human needs.
Yeah.
And, like, sort of the failure of the system. Like, that's what we're seeing with, like, they're, like, normal people living in this bad part of town. And, again, as I said, the Undersiders don't have this kind of grand mission, but I think that, like, I suspect that will be a major theme in whatever mission Taylor does develop. Like, you know, crushing supervillains and, you know, protecting the banks from bank robbery is not sufficient to ensure a just world.
Ooh, yeah. Love that.
Yeah.
I will say about sort of their finances, the impression I get is that Dani would move them to a better neighborhood if he could.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It's probably not that they're that poorly off month to month, but they couldn't afford to, like, take a loss on the house to, like, improve their you know, immediate circumstances.
Yeah.
That was the vibe I got.
And she's not going to be able to use this money to help them get to a better situation without telling her dad what's going on, and her dad will not be okay with that. So that's not happening in any straightforward way. But yeah. I
mean, it's a really good thing if she goes to, like, take this money to the bank. It's a good thing that, like, somebody at the bank doesn't have Lisa's power. It could be like, oh, that money that got stolen, like, three weeks ago?
So that is an interesting question of, like, what is she going to do with this money? Like, does she have a bank account that her dad isn't on? Like, I didn't at that age.
Yeah, interesting.
Like, she could open a bank account, I guess, but, like, a 15-year-old opening a bank account is going to be a little
Put it in the old furnace in the basement.
I mean,
Fill
she probably will, honestly.
Yeah.
It'll be like a furnace full of cash. There's always cash in the furnace. There's always money in the furnace, as they say. Just, you know, don't light it.
Yeah. Taylor, I just fixed the old furnace. No, Dad. Oh, boy.
I used our last $100 to fix the old furnace.
Amazing. Yeah, I mean, this is great. We've got a cool gang of friends.
Oh, yeah.
You know.
Which friends are they? No, later.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool gang of friends. Major moral conflict coming up. Existential crisis. Yeah. It's good stuff.
Very good stuff. All right.
Till next time.
Worm is a web serial by J.C. McCrae. You can read Worm at parahumans.wordpress.com and support the author at patreon.com/wildbow. Follow us on Tumblr and Blue Sky at Inchworm Podcast, or find our Discord link and any other updates on inchwormpodcast.com.